Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Tosh Customs, and let me center this camera a little bit. There we go. And today we will be looking at my custom Mezco Deathstroke version 3. Or is this version 4? I think it's version 3. But it's insane that I've done this figure so many times, and it's very tedious, but at the same time, every time I've made it, I've got to do different things with it. I've been able to make improvements, make little design tweaks. And so I'm really happy to bring you this review today. Once again, I'm trying to be able to post it both on IGTV and YouTube, so I'm probably going to try to keep it under that 15-minute mark. So I believe I already have an existing Deathstroke review, probably from my version 1 or version 2. So because of that, we're not going to fully break down this figure. Instead, we're going to look at what's different and what new things we were able to add to the figure. So as always, we're going to start off with the accessories. Totally new hands. Totally new hands. These hands, the customer wanted them to be from the Sovereign Knight Batman figure. So, but they're all the hands that come with the figure. We got the two fists. We got our gripping hands. We got our battering hands, which I don't know why Deathstroke needs them. Probably throw knives. We got his trigger finger hands and his open palm expressive hands. So diving in, we're just going to talk about the paint differences with these. If you're familiar with the Sovereign Knight figure, the whole hand comes in a matte black, which is fine. It's Batman. It should be a matte black. For Deathstroke, Deathstroke is a more armored assassin. So the armor padding on the top is now highlighted in gunmetal, as well as, let's see if we can get in a little bit closer, get some more detail. Please focus. There we go. The fingers are also done in gunmetal now. And so what that let me do is when we look at something like the trigger finger hand where the fingers are bent, you get some nice scaling between the matte black and the gunmetal, and you can see it in those bends. And so it's really like he has some armored gauntlets on, which I really, really like. We got it on the thumb as well. So that applies for all the hands. I did that same paint job for all of them. So yeah, standard. You guys know that. Very cool. This Deathstroke does come with some extra guns, as you can see. Besides the standard Deathstroke guns, we also have an extra rifle. Customer just wanted me to paint that up. And we have a new Deathstroke head. He wanted more of a fabric mask head instead of only the hard helmet. So those are some new differences. So we're going to dive into the gun paint now. Pretty standard as far as how I treat guns, unless a customer specifies. And let's see if there we go. Let's focus in. I always do it in a matte black and then come over with gunmetal. Unlike some other guns, though, I wanted these to look a little bit more professional. Deathstroke is a very experienced assassin, hitman. So I only did it in black and gunmetal instead of highlighting it with silver. His guns are a little bit more well taken care of. He's not going to have all these scratches on them. So here's the sniper rifle. I actually did the barrel in a gloss black, which I think makes it come out a little bit more. And then the suppressor is done in a matte black. As always with my guns, if they have scopes, we got it in let's see if we can get it to focus there. You can kind of see it. The scope is done in a gloss black. And same thing on the other side. The scope is done in a gloss. There we go. Scope is done in a gloss black. Otherwise, some of the cracks or some of the little deeper spaces in the gun are done in a gloss just so that you can see them a little bit better. But yeah, nothing, there we go. Nothing too out of the ordinary on the sniper rifle. All the other guns are treated the same. So we have our grenade launcher here. Focus, there we go. I don't know how to get my background to focus more, but there we go. We got the grenade launcher. I really like this grenade launcher. So tactical. So tactical, so fun. So I got that grenade launcher there. And I don't know if this comes with the Deathstroke figure, actually. I know this was definitely a Batman grenade launcher. I don't know if it was used for anything else. But anyways, we got the grenade launcher. Put that out of the way. I know this comes with Deathstroke for sure. We got his rifle. So rifle is the same thing. Done with black and gunmetal. Got some gloss black in there. If you have seen my Grifter review, I don't know which coming out first, but if you watch the Grifter review, the scope was done in a red. We decided not to treat the scope this time. I figured Deathstroke is a little bit more professional, maybe a little less style points, but you have to be able to see the sight. So it is done in this metallic green. So I like that. Coming down to the UMP, SMG, same thing, same paint. No surprising details there. It's pretty standard. There's not much we have to do or can do with it. Same thing with the rifle, black and gunmetal. I think the fun part about this is that the magazine has grooves, and so we're actually able to separate the matte black and the gunmetal, having the gunmetal sit on the I don't know if it's cross hatching. The extra texture is highlighted in gunmetal, so that makes it stand out. Scopes are once again done in gloss black, and there we go. You can see it. It's beautiful. So that's about it. Didn't have to do any extra details. I think it looks great. I'm very pleased. I love doing weathering in general. If you ever want me to weather up some armor for you, totally hit me up. So now getting on to the differences. So we talked about the hands, we talked about the guns. We're going to talk about his unmasked head now. This head is the Mezco Moon Knight head. I sculpted, sorry for keeping on clearing my throat. I think it's a little bit dry. Maybe I'm getting a little bit sick, who knows. Sculpted in the eye patch. So now it looks like a nice smooth piece. As far as maybe tips for this, I also did a little bit of sculpting around that eye, so he looks a little bit more angry too. But you just want to make sure that you're really thinning out and smoothing your sculpt when you're merging it with other pieces, so that it doesn't look out of the ordinary, and it doesn't, you don't want that kind of like that hard layer between where your sculpting ends and your existing part starts. So you just want to make sure you're really good at smoothing that out and making that merge really fine so that it looks nice. If you saw my other video, or if you have talked to me, I've fallen in love with black gray paint. It's just a very dark gray, and so this side of the head is actually highlighted in some black gray just to bring out the matte black that sits under it. And so that just helps bring out some of the details in there. And maybe it's hard to see on camera, but in real life, it helps a lot. It helps the texturing of this head a lot. You can kind of see it around that ear and a little bit around the eye. Coming over to the other side, sprayed it orange, which means I did it with I dry brushed a white layer instead of spraying a white layer. And the only reason is since this is a cloth mask, it can get stained, it can get dirty. And so I wanted to add just some tiny bit of paint inconsistency, because fabric isn't always solid, unlike armor. It's not necessarily looks like a hard piece. And so just to add a little bit more character to it. The eye is really nice. I've enjoyed doing this little hook eye on the Deathstrokes, and then we just get some white gloss in the actual eyepiece itself. You just need a really detailed brush, some steady hands. If you don't have steady hands, practice makes perfect. I couldn't do this a couple years ago. Find a fine brush from Michael's or Hobby Lobby. You can buy them online, just something real thin. You just paint that in there. So that's pretty cool. As I've been doing since my version 2, so I guess this is version 3, so it hasn't been long, but I've been adding magnetic ports in the back of all my Deathstroke heads so that you can move the tassels around. The tassels aren't wired, but let me pop this off without knocking the figure over. But the tassels have a magnet, which allows you to do that. Focus. You can spin it around. Oh, not take it off. You can spin it around. So if he's falling, I guess if you're posing him falling, you can throw the tassels up there. Wind's blowing from the left side, you can put the tassels out there. You can leave them down behind the head at a resting position. All that kind of stuff. It just gives you more posing options. It's a nice little additional feature. So we're going to put that head off to the side. Now we're going to get to the big fun stuff. And I know I've been seeing a lot of comments since I posted on it about the skull head. So we'll get into the skull head, but we'll talk about the differences in the body first. Let's see. We're going to go bottom up. So feet, legs are normal, standard, how I make them. So if you've seen my other review, they're the red arrow, green arrow legs, leg armor, repainted. Pretty happy with it. To the most part, it's the same. I threw in some gloss black there. My last one, I actually left the orange stripe undisturbed. In this one, I put the gloss black through the cracks just for consistency, and I think it looks pretty sweet. I did some basic weathering, got some silver, got some gunmetal on there. We have new knee pads, Before I used to cut out and use Scourge knee pads. We have Sovereign Knight knee pads to kind of follow along with the Sovereign Knight hands. So that is done with matte black, and we got a little bit of gunmetal at the top. So when he knees people, it hurts a little bit more. We got both a new knife and a new pistol, which is, ooh, so exciting. I'm gonna lift the arms up out of the way. This is from the, let's see, there we go. Sorry, I pushed something over. This is from the Joker. I don't know why that's not centered on the leg. I'll work on it later. But this is from the Joker figure, the Punk Joker, the one that was very divisive, I think, among the community. They weren't sure how they felt about a Punk Joker, but he's got those nice curved knives. I forget the correct term offhand for these knives. For some reason, I think they start with a K. I don't know for sure, but a little bit machete-ish curved knife. I know I see them a lot being used like in jungle themed figures and stuff. Coming to the other side, we have the Punisher pistol holster. It's done in a matte black, and I highlighted it with some gloss just along the outer fabric edge. So that's pretty cool. I left the pistol untouched. The pistol was fine. The only thing I did, and I don't need to pull the pistol out for this, is the grip itself. It's patterned, and so I went over it with just a little bit of I believe I went over it with matte black, and I just dry brushed really lightly, and so it just pulls out that pattern more, which I'm very excited about. I think it looks really dope. So we got that. Coming up to the belt, we also have a new belt. This is, I believe, from the Mezco Captain America. It is all done under an elastic band, and so it's very flexible to move around the figure. You won't have to worry about it snagging on anything because of that. So yeah, just runs around the back. The pouches just sprayed, painted them orange, hit it up with some gloss black, a little silver button detailing to bring out those details. We're gonna move on to the arms. Arms are standard. You know, I made that tool for myself. Check out my Deathstroke story on Instagram if you haven't seen it, but I made a little tool to help me with the scales. So we got all those scales under there. I'm very happy with how those always turn out. A little bit of a difference though is I left this band black because if I was thinking if he has an attachment strap, the strap up here is going to be different, right? You know, because this runs through and this is what's, you know, holding the grenades to it, but the, you know, layer around the grenades wouldn't necessarily be orange. So I left those black instead. Otherwise, they're painted in a forest green with some silver highlights around the pins and the little, I don't know what you call them. The circle's the pin, whatever that handle piece is called. Gauntlets themselves, also from the Red Arrow, I think Green Arrow and Red Arrow both have them, but those are just sanded out, hollowed out, so that they can be pasted on the outside. Paint is standard orange with black with some wear and tear. The grooves are done in a gloss black. And if you guys are wondering, the reason why I take the time to do it in a gloss black is it makes the grooves stand out. When everything is a single color, it's harder to tell, especially in photos, and in real life it just adds a little bit more pizzazz when you have it in hand. So that's why I do it. Otherwise, shoulders are painted standard, all that kind of stuff. We got a little bit of some different paint apps here on the straps. Just did some gloss black, some matte black, you know, gloss black, matte black. Same old, same old. So we're going to get to the head now, and this is the most complicated part. I think if I have a 15-minute time limit, I have about a minute, 15 seconds left, so we're going to blow through this. So this is a mix of the Deathstroke helmet and the Gomez skull. I think it comes in pretty much every Gomez figure, so it shouldn't be too hard to come across, and there are casts of it on eBay last time I checked, if you ever need it. So what I did was I heated up the head, cut it right down in half, down to the chin guard, and then I just kind of cut across diagonally and then cut across the top to remove the head. This might run over 15 minutes, so sorry IGTV, just go to YouTube, I guess. So then after that, I did the skull same treatment, and I tried to match it up as best as possible. From there, there's sculpting on the forehead and just around, kind of, yeah, just all over the skull to make it feel proportional. The Gomez skull is not like a human skull. It's a little bit lengthier and stretched out, and so because of that, it needed some sculpting to make it, first of all, fit the proportions of the Deathstroke head, but also just to look a little bit more human. And so I added those changes, brought out the cheekbone a little bit, and also worked on the forehead. And so then sculpted in those cracks. Once again, needle. Use a needle. It works. It's so good. Got those beautiful cracks in there. And then once again, we got that magnet in the back for the tassels, which is great. The sides, the jawline area is done in gunmetal. Then the little cracks, divots are done in a gloss black. The mask itself, once I kind of like sculpted and smoothed everything together, is done in matte black and then is hit with black gray to bring out the details in the face. And then also I dry brushed just these hard edges in gunmetal. And so we know that this is a hard mask. It's not something soft, but it's, you know, still metallic in a way. And then all the deep divots, so the eye, so that eye socket, the nose hole, and then also some sides of the jaw deep in there. I don't know if I can get the camera to pick it out or not, but you can kind of see it in the sides of the jaw, but they're done in a gloss black. And so that just adds some more depth to it. In hand, it's a lot easier to see maybe, but there it is. And I think it looks lovely. This side, white, sprayed it this time instead of dry brushed. Sprayed it so that it has a much more consistent look of a mask. We did the hooked eye again, gloss in the eye hole. So there we go. Just did some wear and tear. He's been through some battles, but he still looks pretty clean. So I'm happy with it. So let's put this head back on. Sword got sprayed in silver. So it looks real clean. Looks real fancy. I like that. I'm a fan. So this, yeah, so the sword handle itself is done in an all matte black. So there used to be an orange stripe somewhere on here. Orange stripe is gone. It's all black now. Resprayed with a silver paint. So very, very clean. Very, very shiny. Very, very Deathstroke. So thank you for watching this review. This is my custom Mezco Deathstroke version 3 in all his beautiful glory. I think this will just be posted on YouTube now since we've run over time. So please like and subscribe. I appreciate any support you give me. Also, if you want to see more consistent updates, as I don't always have time to film reviews, I always am pretty consistently posting on Instagram. So follow me there. It's Tosh_customs. I have a link in the YouTube description, probably not description, but definitely in the about section of my YouTube page. So yeah, please check me out. Thank you again for watching and have a wonderful day. Take care.